All right, Mike Heck here from MMAfighting.com here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Getting ready for PFL Charlotte. A lot of World Tournament champions are going to be crowned, so pretty excited for that. Covering my first PFL card, but time for today's question of the day here on MMAfighting.com. Today's comes from Nordic Fight Fan. Perfect timing for this, a day before UFC 319. Here's the question. The common narrative surrounding the main event is that Khamzat Chimaev could steamroll Dricus du Plessis early, while DDP would be more likely to take over late, but which of these two flipped scenarios would you actually find the more surprising? A, DDP dominating early and finishing Khamzat within the first 2 rounds, or B, Khamzat winning 4+ rounds while scoring a 10-8 in one of the championship rounds, i.e. basically picking up steam the longer the fight goes. I saw this question this morning, I looked at it, and I didn't realize how hard it was going to be until I actually read it out loud, mostly because of the way I actually view this fight. I think some of the things are overblown. I do think the narrative surrounding the fight could pose true. However, the way I see this fight going is Khamzat does have success early. I think DDP gains a little momentum at the end of round 2. Khamzat probably nearly finishes DDP a time or two, but DDP is just so ridiculously tough. I think with Khamzat, the cardio issues, that storyline's a little overblown. I get it. Both guys are going to get tired. They're 2 hosses. And surprisingly, I actually think this fight is going to go 25 minutes. I think Khamzat finds success early. I think DDP does gain some steam, but I think Khamzat is going to be able to meet fire with fire. I think the final 3 rounds are going to look very similar to the Gilbert Burns fight, where it's just going to be a wild final 15 minutes, fight of the year potential. And in the end, I do think DDP does enough down the stretch to get the win in a very close competitive decision, but it is going to be a war of attrition. So if I have to answer this question, I think DDP dominating early and finishing Khamzat within the first 2 rounds can happen. This fight could get stopped early, and it could go either way. If DDP finished Khamzat Chimaev in the first 2 rounds, it would not shock me, and vice versa. But Khamzat just dominating and winning 4+ rounds and scoring a 10-8 in the championship rounds, I say no to that, and I say no to either of those guys doing that. My official pick is going to be DDP by decision, and if I have to choose which would be the more surprising, I'll say Khamzat winning 4+ rounds, getting a 10-8 in the championship rounds, because I think the fight's just going to be closer than that. My biggest Khamzat Chimaev question is not the cardio. Biggest Khamzat question is, if he gets hurt in this fight in any way, if he breaks his hand on DDP's melon of a head, can he fight through that? Because you could see in the Kamaru Usman fight when he broke his hand early in that one, it affected him. He's a lot more gun shy. The aggression left in a lot of respects. So if that does happen, can Khamzat battle through? I hope that doesn't happen, and we get the fight that my gut is telling me we're going to get, and I cannot wait for it. So thank you for the question, Nordic Fight Fan. Appreciate you. Appreciate all of you. First week of Question of the Day in the books. We'll be back on Monday. Head to MMAfighting.com, go to the feed, and leave your question where you find this video, and we'll answer it on Monday. Have a good weekend, everybody. Let's go.